Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Max Easy Lesson. Today we are going to look at the characters in The Tempest. Here presents a number of characters that are important to understanding the events that take place in the play. For the first part, he presents Prospero, who is the rightful Duke of Milan. 12 years earlier, Prospero was exiled from Milan but found safety on a remote island. His younger brother Antonio had taken Prospero's title and property. Prospero now manipulates everyone within his reach on the island, but he seems helpless against his enemies until they appear on a ship nearby. As soon as his enemies are within reach, he uses his magic to create a storm, or what we call the tempest, to bring them under his power and control. Prospero uses white magic, which is associated with nature and not the type of black magic of evil men. As a former Duke of Milan, one sees Prospero with his complex personality. He does not want to free Ariel, and he also enslaves Caliban. Still, he is really a good ruler, as he never plans to injure even his enemies. At the start of the play, he seems cruel and callous in his treatment towards Ariel and Caliban. He shows that he is autocratic in his treatment of Ferdinand, because Prospero knows that Ferdinand and Miranda will value one another more if there are few challenges in their courtship. Prospero's humanity is clearly obvious in his treatment of Antonio, whom he calls a traitor, whom he declines to treat as a traitor. Also, Prospero's goodness shows when he stops Alonso from apologizing to Miranda, telling him that there is no need for more amends. At the end of the play, one sees that Prospero is just and fair, in addition to the fact that he is intelligent. Ariel is the spirit of the air. Ariel refuses to serve the witch Sycorax and was imprisoned in a tree. He was then rescued by Prospero. Ariel carries out Prospero's wishes willingly because he wants to be free. Ariel approaches his task with enthusiasm, quickly doing what is asked and promptly reporting any activities that he observes. Early in the play, Ariel reports the plot to murder Prospero, and later he assists in punishing Prospero's enemies. Ariel's obedience is an important symbol of Prospero's humanity because he shows Prospero's role on the island and humanizes the actions that Prospero takes against his old adversaries. Ariel's obedience and his willingness to do Prospero's wishes is in direct contrast to Caliban's cursing and plotting against the same master. We go to Caliban. Caliban is a product of nature. He's the offspring of the witch Sycorax and the devil. Prospero makes him his servant or slave. Now, for the most part, Caliban is insolent and rebellious and can only be controlled with Prospero's magic. Caliban claims that the island is his own and maintains that Prospero has tricked him in the past. Caliban reflects the black magic of his mother. For the most part, he is bad, especially when judged by modern civilized standards. Because of Prospero's treatment, Caliban helps to plan Prospero's murder out of revenge. But Caliban is a poor character judge, and as he befriends Stefano, he sees Stefano as good, but in fact Stefano isn't. Caliban is innocent in many ways, and only reacts to emotional and physical needs because he does not think through and fully understand the events and people who surround him. One could say that he is truly a child of nature. He's uneducated, and he reacts to his surroundings in much the same way that an animal does. Now we go to Miranda, who is Prospero's daughter. She was only 3 years old when they were exiled. Now 12 years later, she has grown into a beautiful young woman. She is an innocent in many ways, as she has only seen her father and no other human being in these years on the island. She is also unaware of her beauty because she does not know what feminine beauty is supposed to look like. Miranda is still compassionate, as with her concern for the passengers caught up in the storm. She is also justifiably indignant at her father's story of betrayal. Her tenderness is also evident when she begs her father not to use magic to control Ferdinand, whom she loves. She is also obedient, even though she forgets herself and reveals her name to Ferdinand. She is in love, and when her father is occupied, she immediately looks to release Ferdinand from his labors. Miranda has no experience with people, and she has no experience with men either, other than her father and Caliban. Because of her isolation, though, she has developed no artful skills at flirting, and when Ferdinand tells her that he loves her, Miranda weeps. Now we go to Ferdinand. Ferdinand is the son of the King of Naples. During the storm, he becomes separated from the rest of the king's group, and then he meets Miranda and falls in love with her when he comes to shore. He is also similar to Miranda in his honesty and kindness. He is also a loving son, and he respects his father. He commits early to marrying Miranda when he thinks that his father had died, but upon finding that his father is alive, he acknowledges his father's authority and tells him of his commitment to marry Miranda. He easily reassures Prospero that he will respect Miranda's chastity and not violate the trust that he has been given. Alonso is the king of Naples. He is grief-stricken when he thinks that his son has died. Later, he becomes overjoyed to find Ferdinand still alive. Of course, this is one of the characteristics that makes him a good and loving father, who is just like other humans who have made mistakes in their past. Alonso bears some amount of responsibility for the events in Prospero's life, because Antonio would not have acted without Alonso's agreement. However, when he is confronted with his responsibility, Alonso showed genuine repentance for the pain he caused Prospero in the past. He also attempts to apologize to Miranda, and this also reinforces the image of Alonso as a good and just king. And finally, we look at Antonio. Antonio is Prospero's younger brother. He is motivated by envy and by a desire to create trouble. He is now the fraudulent Duke of Milan because he was responsible for exiling Prospero and his little daughter. And he is still actively engaged in plotting rebellions, even on the island. His action against Prospero were less and did not truly satisfy his ambitions. And now, Antonio convinces Sebastian to murder his brother. He shows fright when confronted with the spirits, and later when he was confronted by Prospero. But the truth is that Antonio reveals no sign of remorse for the actions he has committed in the past. Now, this is simply a character map to show you how each character relates to the other. Prospero is at the center, and everything reflects around Prospero, Prospero's life, and what Prospero does eventually. Now, thank you for stopping by, and please come again. We'll have follow-ups on the setting, the themes, and much more on The Tempest, Shakespeare, The Tempest. Please leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And thanks again for stopping.